Welcome, Senator Moore.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. I outlined the core message of the letter that you sent Governor Kemp requesting an emergency session. Why did you decide to write this letter?
Well, first of all, I'm tired of elected officials just sitting around under the shade trees here in Georgia. Republicans are asleep at the wheel. We as a legislature have a job to do, and we have an important duty. We've got the power of the purse. We control all the taxpayers' money. Hardworking Georgians, they pay their taxes, and guess where those taxes are going? To fund Fani Willis. And Fani Willis is going after her political opponents. She's taking political prisoners. She wants to sentence them to life in prison. I mean, this is something you would see in Putin's Moscow, in a third world country, not in the state of Georgia.
She's been condemned or scolded for doing this previously with Burt Jones, Lieutenant Governor.
Right, absolutely. I mean, she had donated and held a fundraiser for the lieutenant governor's opponent, and luckily he was able to go before the judge and show that, which removed him from these 19 indictments. But apparently a special prosecutor is going to come in and try to special prosecute him outside of Fani Willis. So it's absolutely nonsense what's going on. We as a legislature have to stop making Facebook posts, TikToks, whatever it is, and get to work, do our job, take action. And so that's why I'm calling for this special session, because under the special session, we could immediately remove her funds, and then she would be subject only to the taxpayers of Fulton County. She wouldn't be getting money from Northwest Georgians and South Georgians and all of us outside of Fulton County. It also gives us the power in the Constitution to investigate, to provide oversight of judicial and executive officers. And if we investigate and find corruption, you darn well better believe she needs to be impeached too.
And that actually just raised another question for me. If Governor Kemp grants the approval for request, who leads that investigation?
So we as a legislature have many different ways of organizing. There'll be a special committee and then ultimately a committee of the whole legislature, but we have subpoena power. We can dive into anything just like you would in a court.
I covered this story actually when it broke 6 hours before the grand jury returned a decision to indict President Trump. The charges were prematurely released on the Fulton County's website. Then the county clerk chose to delete the document, labeled it as being fictitious in an official statement, by the way. And then the county clerk admitted after that to sharing it accidentally. What does that say about the credibility of the office?
Well, it gives credit to this is all politically motivated, right? The grand jury hasn't even made the formal true bill. And she's updating her website, getting her fundraising ready to go for this type of thing. We're in uncharted territories right now. I mean, it took 19 days to certify the election results. These individuals were simply questioning the integrity of our elections. They were using their First Amendment rights. Some of the charges have nothing to do with more than just a tweet, someone exercising their free speech. And unfortunately, these Gestapo tactics have silenced a lot of Republicans. I was talking to my mom right after these indictments came out, and I said, no more just going to social media. I want to call a special session, and I want to encourage my senators to do the same. And she said, I don't know, like the charges that these guys and girls are facing, I don't really want you to get involved. And I said, Mom, that's exactly why I have to get involved, because no red-blooded American should ever have to worry about their free speech.
And I applaud you for doing that. This story, I shared it yesterday, gaining momentum quickly, over 300,000 views in just a few hours. A few of the viewers who watched suggested that what you are doing could also be politically motivated. How do you address those who interpret your request in that manner?
Well, I mean, like I said before, I was duly elected by the citizens of Northwest Georgia. Okay. They sent me there to do a job. And let's not forget what the purpose of the legislature is. It is a check and it is a balance, all right, on the executive and the judicial branch. We have a rogue district attorney who is using hard-earned taxpayer money to politically persecute and prosecute her opponents. Now, I, as a member of the legislature, have the ability to push my fellow legislators into defunding that so those taxpayer money isn't being used. I mean, the argument that something is politically motivated, that goes both ways. We are in a cold war in this nation, and it takes everything. It takes treasure. It takes people getting involved, calling their state representatives, calling their state senators. If you just sit around and you don't say or do anything, just wait till the tyrants come to your door.
Good point. And actually, that was going to be my next question. I've been inundated with a flood of supportive comments and messages regarding your actions. And people, first off, want to thank you. Thousands of comments for you standing up to what appears to be a two-tier justice system. People are asking me, how can they get involved? What can they do to help?
Well, first off, if you live in Georgia, make sure you call your state senator, your state representative, and you say, I demand a special session. We have to defund Fani Willis. We have to investigate Fani Willis. You can also go to my website, coltonmoore.com, sign on to the official petition. We'll keep you updated and informed on what's going on. So that way you can take further action into the future.
Very good. One last question. Your push for an emergency session is definitely making waves. Considering Willis has wrapped up her investigation and the indictment's already been issued, can you explain how urgent this matter is, considering the upcoming election cycle?
Yeah, I mean, it's timed perfectly for the upcoming election cycle. Not to mention, there may be a second round of indictments, which has really spooked a lot of people into a lot of political figures, a lot of political leaders. They're reluctant to say anything. They're afraid they're going to incriminate themselves. I mean, what a dangerous place to be in our nation. The county that she represents there in Fulton County, the ACLU reports that half of the inmates there have yet to be charged with a crime. Then we've got rapper Young Thug, who's been in the courthouse now for a year, and they've yet to pick a jury. So where's the justice there? But yet she's going to do this political tack in 6 months. It's absolutely nonsense. That's where the urgency comes from. Her funds need to be stripped away.
Well said. Senator Colton Moore, thank you so much for joining me.
Appreciate you having me, man. Keep up the good work yourself.